I'm the same. My family's been in this area for
forever,
as long as anybody can remember, and that's why I'm kind of on this crusade to talk to everybody that's a local. I mean, the local culture, all local culture is kind of dissipating. Everybody wants to watch TV, and I'm trying to bring it back together.
Well, especially now with video and social media, we're losing a lot of our history.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make
oral history, not the written history. We're leaving a lot of our oral history, and it's very important.
My YouTube channel is devoted to just talking to locals. I may want to talk to you again sometime. In fact, I
live in Nashville.
Oh, right on. Well, that's okay. I'm in Nashville quite a lot. If you could write your name on that, I want to make sure I got the spelling right.
Oh, I want to hear this. Oh, no, you don't. Now, she calls me the professor.
I've got video and audio running. I'm going to take some more shots in there.
That's cool. If it's all set.
It's all, you're good. You're catching audio on my phone and on.
Thanks. I was there for the first time last time I was in Nashville. It's a great little thrift store down there, Mount Joel.
Yes, it's on TV now.
Yeah? I didn't know that.
3712. I know the thrift store you're talking about too. They're on TV now. They're those guys over there.
That's cool.
They're known all around the world. They got a TV show. They moved to Nashville about 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it might have been even 10 years ago. They moved to Nashville. When they moved their shop to Nashville. When somebody said antique shop, I know which one you're talking about. The one that's on TV. They didn't even know.
Okay, let's start with talking to this camera this time. That one got tired.
Okay.
So we're going to the good one. State your name and the years that you were at Langston.
My name is Philip Shade. I was at Langston 1961 to 1965. 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, and then 1965 was my last year, and they integrated, and we all went to Science Hill.
Let's start off simple, and I got a few questions about Johnson City to ask you. We'll get back to it. Your time at Langston, what did you do? I mean, what were you active in at the time? Like, were you into sports, different clubs and stuff?
Well, as 7th and 8th graders, no sports for us. We still played with Carver. Of course, in Johnson City at that time, young men, we all played football, basketball. We didn't have track, and we all swim. We all went to Carver, and all of us were swimmers and divers. So basically, as 7th and 8th grade, there was no sports for us. 9th grade was our last year. Since they were turning it down then, I'd already started to work, and I was working at the Americana restaurant as a busboy. So sports had already started to be my pastime, doing outside at the Carver versus at Langston High School.
Right. Well, what's that one memory? Do you have just a magic memory, a good time that sticks with you above all the others?
I'll tell you, this is the one I used to tell my students. I ended up being a teacher in Nashville public school system. And every year, football season, we'd come up, and there was a name that was floating around called Steve Spurrier. And Steve Spurrier, he was a coach at Florida, and everybody talking about how great he was, how he won the Heisman Trophy, and how Florida was going to the NCAA championships and stuff. And I looked at him and said, Steve Spurrier? I says, man, do you know we scrimmaged Steve Spurrier and Science Hill and beat the crap out of him. I said, Science Hill refused to scrimmage us ever again after that. But I said, we beat the crap out of Steve. Talking about Heisman Trophy. He's no Heisman. Johnny Russell is the Heisman Trophy winner, okay? So that's one of my big moments at Langston High School when we beat Steve Spurrier in the Science Hill. And
that's fantastic.
And like I said, they never scrimmaged us again after that game. And to this day, Steve Spurrier, and he knows it. So Johnny Russell, Gilcrease, those boys there, that was the football team. Langston boys could beat any football team around in this area here.
Do you remember what year that was they played?
Had to be 1963 because Johnny Russell was the class of 64 with my brother Maysell. Russell, Gilcrease, they all graduated class of 64. So this had to be 1963. It might have been as early as 1962, around 62, 63 football season. We beat the crap out of them. They said, no, we'll never scrimmage Langston ever again. There used to be a little kind of ritual there. Well, they stopped that ritual after we kicked Steve Spurrier.
It's no fun to be a rival if you can't win.
Isn't that the truth?
That's awesome. At the time, and how long did you live in Johnson City?
I was born here. I was born here in 1950. I stayed here till 1966. It'd be summer '66 was when I left and moved up to Flint, Michigan.
Any memories of downtown at the time?
Quite a few memories since I was a busboy at the Americana restaurant, which would have been at the Holiday Inn, which would have been downtown Holiday Inn. My brother, he was also worked at Johnson Reunion Hotel, which used to be one of the premier hotels in Johnson City at the time. So from Johnson Reunion Hotel to the Americana restaurant with the Holiday Inn, I was all over Johnson City. I sold the Grit newspaper, I shined shoes, cut grass. So Johnson City downtown was a place we only went to shop, and that was only at J.C. Penney's. We were not allowed to go to theaters. We were not allowed to shop at any of the other stores. I can remember when I took my great-grandmother, Minnie Connolly, to King's department store for her first shopping visit. She bought gloves and got her all straightened out. This was in 1977. Summer of 1977 was the first time my grandmother ever got into King's department store to shop.
It's stunning at a time today.
Yes, especially now when you go downtown Johnson City and it's pretty much dead. You know, they're trying to revitalize it with all of the, I see all of the pubs downtown and the breweries, but not very much on the shopping of clothing and shoes and merchandise shopping is pretty much done with there. There's no theaters downtown anymore. So, you know, Johnson City has changed. It's grown, but it's grown out and not in. Right. And downtown needs to be preserved. Those buildings downtown, they were built before I was born. I don't know why we're letting all those historical places downtown go to waste like they are. I see the new library we've built, but the old library is still standing. And I wish they'd do something for these old buildings that have been around for ages.
And a lot of them, sadly, in the last couple of years, they've been knocking down blocks because those buildings have just reached a point where they can't really be saved anymore.
Well, we didn't put the money into them, invest in them back in the years like we should have. Our infrastructure, not just in Johnson City, but everywhere, the infrastructure is really falling down. Hopefully, Johnson City will even revitalize their downtown area within the next coming 10 to 20 years and bring back alive. Because believe it or not, if you live anywhere close to downtown, you can walk. All the way from the VA Center, all the way from the Carnegie, you can walk right downtown. And believe me, there's nothing better than to be able to go downtown in the city that you live in and spend an afternoon and spend some money.
Yeah, I do that a little too often. Now the Langston High School is becoming the Langston Arts Center. Bridging generations, trying to keep that legacy alive. Why is that important to us today?
It's important because of, first off, just their name alone. Langston Educational Arts. Education and arts. Education and God is the only thing that's going to help any society. If you get you a great education and you have faith in something, it doesn't matter who your God is or what your God is, but you have faith in something other than yourself, and you get you a great education, that's what's going to save us as a nation and us as a people.
When you were there when the school was desegregated.
Yes.
You moved on to a different world than what you had been used to.
Yes.
How was that adjustment?
Well, my first and only year at Science Hill was kind of tumultuous for me. I was in Algebra 1. They didn't expect me to do well in Algebra 1, leaving Langston. I really don't think they respected the education that we were getting at Langston. I went to Science Hill and I succeeded. I went to Science Hill, I ran cross country for Science Hill. Matter of fact, I was one of the first blacks to run a sport at Science Hill, which is as I tell folks, a widely kept secret. I would have been the first one that lettered at Science Hill if they had given me my letter, which they refused to give. I ran cross country, and that was not what blacks were supposed to do, and I did very well. You can go check the records of Science Hill in 1965, 66 year, and you'll see that Philip Shade was a great cross country runner, but they refused to give me my letter. So I decided not to go to Science Hill the following year. I didn't like how I was treated. And I moved up to Flint, Michigan, ended up graduating from Flint Southwestern High School, graduating college from Baker College, 3 tours in Vietnam, and believe it or not, ended up being a school teacher down in Nashville, Tennessee.
So education made an impression on you.
Very much so, and it all started and ended at Langston.
I should say good education.
Well,
You're good teachers.
first off, if education is not fun, then your children won't have fun learning. That was always my motto with all of my students, was teachers should make it fun, and you should have fun doing it. It's not a chore that you're doing. This is a labor of love. And any teacher that doesn't realize it's a labor of love will lose every student they ever have, as we have here in Johnson City, Tennessee. I've got friends of mine that they labeled as children who couldn't learn and can't learn. And I'm looking at those same children now, and they're living better than some of these children who basically were great to educate. See, it's desire. It's not just getting a great education, it's having great teachers. If you have great teachers, you'll get a great education.
That inspiration goes a long way. I know
Goes
it did for me.
further than anything else I could ever get from Langston. Coach Chrisman, Mr. Bowers, I can go up and down the list of teachers that helped us. Even, believe it or not, our Boy Scout leader. All of us was Boy Scouts, and we had a great leader there. Mr. Crow was a great Scout leader, and we all did these things. We all went to church.
So maybe the Langston Arts Center will end up being that inspiration.
Being that inspiration.
A home for those
A
kind of
home
people
for
of
these
integrity.
children who they say can't learn or can't be taught because we're not using love as our guide. I would rather be, as they used to call me at one of my schools, Candyman. My teachers labeled me because I used to carry a piece of candy in my pocket. And I always said this: after I gave a student a tongue lashing for whatever it is infraction they done, I like to give them something sweet to go along with that bitterness that I just gave them. Because I don't want them to hate school. I'd rather for them to hate Mr. Shade. And giving them a piece of candy will take that hate right away from them, because that sweetness will bring you right on down.
Thank you, Mr. Shea. That's fantastic.
You're more than welcome.
I really appreciate you. That's great.